Um, Hello, I'm Adrian from Vuala, company working to make food waste recycling easy. So our innovation allow utilize targeted microorganisms together with specialized mechanical design to automatically separate food waste from any other waste. And we turn the food waste into raw material for energy production within hours on site. So our innovation allows food waste to be treated on site and then to be stored up to a month without smell. So significantly delaying the collection frequency and saving 95% of labor, logistic, and CO2 emission. Now, so that's our solution. But why are we targeting food waste? So is there really a food waste problem? Now, I really want us to think about something. So what if we could actually fight climate change? If we were to be able to solve the food waste management currently. Now, so let's dig deeper into whether they're actually a food waste problem. So to put it into perspective, globally, 1/3 of the food produced are wasted right now. So if you think about it, if food waste were to be a country, it would be the third largest emitter globally as a country, right behind the China and US. Now, it's not only an international problem, but rather a local problem as well. So domestically, if we look into the UK one, the UK produce 9.5 million tons of food waste every single year. Now that's a lot. So we do have a problem. We do have a global problem and a local problem. We do have a lot of food waste. But what are we doing about it? So currently, if you were to think about the current food waste management method, it's very labor intensive. Two bin workers, one driver, hand pick it up, dump it in a truck. That's what we're doing. Now, the current method of food waste recycling are way too labor intensive, expensive. Just imagine hiring 3 people for bags of rubbish. It's very expensive and it's very non-hygienic as well. Now that's the reason why out of 333 UK councils, nearly 50% aren't offering separate food waste collection. Now that's a lot. Now in 2021, the House of Parliament passed the Environmental Act, requiring every single companies and councils to collect food waste separately. But still, if we look into the current food waste recycling rate, we only got 20%, meaning that most are either incinerated, landfill, or simply just dump it. Now, this is because the only way to do food waste recycling currently is to manually sort. Now, imagine there's a bin over here, and you need to stuck your hand to sort out the food waste from the bin. It's disgusting. It's not practical. It's labor intensive. It simply doesn't work. Now, as CEO of Vuala, I sincerely believe that our solution can help fight against climate change, or at least to solve the food waste problem. Now, it's a proven concept, proven technology, where the case study, official case study of the University of Cambridge, Innovate UK, Cambridge Independent, and so on. Now, but what actually are we selling? What is our product? Now, to use our product is actually very simple. That's the Vuala X1. We're a hardware company. We build systems. And we have a microorganism kit. Simply empty the microorganism kit into the Vuala X1. You then treat the Vuala X1 like a normal bin. You dump mixed waste into the Vuala X1. Now the food waste is being automatically separate from any other waste and turned into raw material for energy production within hours on site. Now by treating food waste on site, we allowed it to be stored even more than a month without smell. As you can imagine, it significantly reduced the collection frequency and the labor as well. We save 95% of labor, logistic, not to mention CO2 reduction as well. And food waste are being treated into raw material for energy production within hours. Hours as in 3 hours, all with a nearly 95% of conversion rate. Within the whole market, we're the only one that can offer automatic food waste sorting and collection service because we do it on site. There isn't any tedious manual sorting required. Now think about the time when you try to be environmental conscious. You're staring at like 10 bins, or like at least 5 bins, recycling bins. And then you're sorting each and every single one into the respective bins. Without a solution, you don't need any of that. You don't need any tedious separation. No hygiene problem, no odor free. It's odor free because it's designed to be airtight. It's a plug and go system. Simply treat it like a normal bin. Dump your mixed waste into it like you normally do. It's small and compact, 120 cm in height, 1 meter in width, 50 cm in depth. But most importantly, again, it delays significantly the collection frequency to more than a month without smell. Without smell. It's very, very important. Now, how do we operate? We are a hardware company, but then we don't sell the machine. We offer our machine as a service. So our operating model is a utility subscription. Think about your household energy bill. The more you use, the more we charge. For a one-stop food waste collection and recycling service. To use our service, dump your mixed waste into the bin. It then goes into the Vuala X1. Food waste is being automatically separated from any other waste. We then deploy slurry trucks, the one that use in sewage plants. Take it, deploy it, transport it into 3 locations, 3 main locations. Anaerobic digestion plants to produce biogas, methane. Animal feed for pigs and fish. And last but not the least, to produce hydrogen. Now, the market that we're targeting initially is the UK market. And to validate the market, we're scientists. We love math. We did a feasibility study on every single London postcode. You heard it right, every single one of them, to validate the market. And we're prioritizing our target customer based on the food waste produced per day. We're starting with the biggest one, shopping mall. 406 of them in the UK, followed by supermarkets and hotel. Way more. Last but not the least, B2C and B2G, B2 governance, household and the rest. For example, like football stadium, household, residential building, university, and etc. The technology is patent pending. We've got grants from Innovate UK, Imperial, University of Cambridge, European Regional Development Fund, Innovate UK, and etc. And most importantly, we've obtained a 3-year waste treatment permit that allow us to do anything in terms of waste, trade, collect, transform it for 3 years at least within the United Kingdom. That leads us to a pilot. So we're currently running 10 pilots all across the UK. 5 sites across Millennium Hotel and Resort Group, 2 sites in University of Cambridge, and 1 more site in the Bradfield Centre in the Cambridge Science Park, and a few other sites as well. So 10 sites in total. The Vuala X1 is designed for hotels, office buildings, shopping malls, and supermarkets. We're also raising fundraising. We're currently raising 500K for our ASA Advanced Subscription Agreement from both private and institutional investors. 100K committed, 20% will be used for KIHAs, same will be used for R&D, and the rest will be used for Vuala X1 production. Produce a lot of them and install a lot of them. Our mission is to reduce 100 million tons of CO2 in 10 years. If you represent any office premises or any premises that involves food waste, or if you are an investor, please get your talk right here. I'll be more than happy to have a discussion with you. Help us reduce 100 million tons of CO2 in 10 years. Help us accelerate the UK's growth to net zero by solving the food waste management problem. I'm Avery from Vuala. Thank you.
Hi, that was amazing. I have so many questions, but I will throw it to the audience first. Great, first one at the back.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I was wondering if you think that if councils mandated separate food waste collection, how that would impact your business and your market?
Sure. So to put it into perspective, the House of Parliament passed the Environmental Act. So it requires every council to collect food waste separately. But to put it into numbers, out of the 333 councils, 40% aren't doing so. So why? It's too expensive. It's not cheap, and it's labor intensive. And we've got an HGV driver shortage. If you think about like one of the problems of Brexit is that we have HGV driver shortage. So to answer your question, how would it impact us? It helps us significantly. So we're currently in discussion with Rowan Kensington Borough, different councils as well. We're working with the Cambridge and Peterborough Combined Authority, and it helps, in short. So yes, it really does impact us.
Great. There was.
I have two questions. I think the first one is, what are your biggest constraints to scaling?
Yes.
And the second one is, once it's collected and sorted and sent off using the slurry trucks,
Yep.
do you have to then engage with different organizations or businesses to turn it into biofuel, to turn it into animal feed? And are there any challenges with that part of the supply chain?
Okay. To answer your first question, the hardest part, the biggest obstacle that we can. So we're a startup. We're only 2 years old. So currently we're in 10 sites. So if you can imagine the amount of growth that we experienced in the past 2 years, it's too much, a bit of too much for us. So we just welcomed 2 new members last month, and we're aiming to do so in the next quarter. So one of the biggest obstacles is to find the right people. That's number one. Number two is production. So we believe in in-house production and locally in the UK. So our current in-house manufacturing is in Hayes and Harlington, one stop from Heathrow. So the reason behind this is because even though that it might be way cheaper to produce in Portugal, in China, in Taiwan, or in other places, in Vietnam, for example, we believe in short lead time to tailor our customer need. And to do so, we need to scale up our own in-house manufacturing capability. And it takes time. So that's one of the main obstacles that we have. Key hires, and also increase our own capability of manufacturing. To answer your second question, is the supply chain. So currently we have letter of intent signed with 3 kinds of key partners, which includes hydrogen producer, AD plants, anaerobic digestion plants, and animal feed producer. And currently, to simplify our logistics, so currently, to put it into perspective, the hydrogen producer are paying £200 per ton for organic waste, segregated organic waste. We charge them half, but then they need to provide their own logistic to pick up the food waste from our machine in different sites. So it kind of like simplify what we do because we can't deal with logistic anymore. So it helps. So that's part of our business model. But yes, in order to scale, we need to build our own supply chain. Currently it's okay because we're only in 10 sites, but if we're in 100 sites, then we need to think of something else and maybe build our own logistics as well, but not for now.
Hi, I was wondering, what's the capacity of each bin?
Yes.
And then do you have any plans to scale that technology? And if you are, then what capacity can you envisage the technology being able to handle?
Sure. So I'm not sure if you're a big fan of Lego when you're a kid. I am. And from my perspective, I think that every design has to think long term. And within our product designer, what do is we build a system in a long-term vision. It can scalable. It can scale in the long run. But the core machine stays the same size. So currently, to answer your exact question, what is the capacity of each and every single machine? It has 2 main models. Number one, 10 kg per day. Number two, 50 kg per day. So 50 kg per day can accommodate most of the hotels, can accommodate most of the bigger size canteens or office buildings. 10 kg per day will be the pilot that we're dealing with office buildings, very small canteens, 50 employees or 100 employees per day. So that's our 2 main model. Going back to why did I mention Lego, is because we designed our core machine to be the same, 2 main models, but then it's being compatible like Lego with a tank. Basically, we have 50 kg of tanks for the core machine. Then you can attach 100 kg tank, 1,000 tank, 2,000 tank, 2-ton can. So it multiply the collection frequency. So just by having a core machine, we then, for example, like a hotel or a football stadium. So one of the Millennium Hotel Group, the premises that they have is actually the Chelsea football stadium. And sometimes, in general, if they don't have a football match, it will be a very minimum amount of food waste. If they were to have a big match, for example, Chelsea versus Manchester, they'll have a lot of food waste significantly in one drop. So what we do, we'll then send a tank that they can simply pump the food waste after it's being turned to slurry. So core machine stays the same for their daily use, but when they need it, additional tank. So that's how the Lego design comes in. Hope it answered your question.
And I'm afraid that's time. Thank you so much. It's been fascinating.
Thank you very much.